Good evening, everyone. The NASCAR Truck Series heads to Watkins Glen International this weekend, and the pressure around the Bully Hill Vineyards 176 is already building. Three Trackhouse racing drivers are attempting triple duty across the NASCAR weekend: Shane van Gisbergen, Connor Zilisch, and Ross Chastain. And while that creates excitement for fans, it also creates enormous pressure inside the garage. This is not just another Truck Series race. For Van Gisbergen, it marks his first ever Truck Series road course start. For Zilisch, it's a major opportunity to deliver a breakthrough victory. And for Chastain, it's a chance to remind the field why experience still matters at one of NASCAR's most technical circuits. What makes this race especially unpredictable is the absence of a former Watkins Glen Truck Series winner in the field. Last year, Heim dominated this event. But with Heim not entered this weekend, the race becomes completely open. That changes the competitive balance immediately. Van Gisbergen and Chastain will compete with Nice Motorsports, while Zilisch joins Spire Motorsports alongside recent Texas winner Carson Hocevar. Cup-level drivers entering truck competition always raise the intensity. The pace increases. Restarts become more aggressive, and mistakes are punished immediately. The biggest storyline entering the weekend centers around Shane van Gisbergen. NASCAR fans already know his road course credentials. His transition into stock car racing has produced impressive moments very quickly. But trucks present a completely different challenge. The braking zones are different. The vehicle balance changes dramatically in traffic, and the racecraft inside a Truck Series field can become extremely physical, especially late in the race. That makes Watkins Glen an important test of adaptation. If Van Gisbergen adjusts quickly, he could become a major threat immediately. Precision driving is critical at Watkins Glen, and that has always been one of his greatest strengths. But truck races and road courses are rarely clean. Drivers overshoot corners. Dive bombs happen late in races. Overtime restarts can completely change the outcome in seconds, and SBG has not yet experienced this exact environment. Connor Zilisch may quietly enter the weekend with just as much momentum. The young driver already carries enormous expectations, particularly on road courses where his technical discipline stands out. But winning at the truck level requires more than speed. It requires surviving chaos, managing aggressive veterans, and executing under restart pressure. At Watkins Glen, one small mistake entering turn one can end a strong race instantly. Then there is Ross Chastain. With more than 120 Truck Series starts and 5 career victories, Chastain brings the experience advantage into this field. But expectations also follow him every time he competes in lower series events. Fans expect him to contend immediately. And if either Van Gisbergen or Zilisch outperforms him this weekend, the conversation around NASCAR's next generation becomes even louder. Chastain's aggressive style has always made him dangerous. But at road courses, patience and tire management can become just as important as raw pace. Another major factor in this race is AJ Allmendinger. Allmendinger's history at Watkins Glen is well established, including his first NASCAR Cup Series victory at this track. He understands how to manage long runs and attack late without destroying tire life early. That veteran knowledge could become critical if strategy decides the race in the closing laps. There is also a broader story developing across the Truck Series this weekend. Natalie returns after recording the best finish by a female driver in Truck Series history with her 5th place run at Daytona. Toni Breidinger continues expanding her visibility within the sport. And Dystany Spurlock makes another important step forward after becoming the first black woman to compete in one of NASCAR's top 3 national series earlier in her career. Those developments continue to shape NASCAR's future pipeline and visibility across the sport. The challenge for the Trackhouse drivers now becomes endurance. Triple duty weekends are physically demanding. Drivers constantly shift between different vehicles, setups, and driving styles across multiple series. Mental fatigue becomes a real factor by the end of the weekend, and sometimes the difference between victory and disaster comes down to one brief lapse in concentration. That's why Friday night matters far beyond the Truck Series standings. Momentum can build quickly across an entire NASCAR weekend. If one of the Trackhouse drivers dominates early, confidence carries into the next races. But if frustration, contact, or mechanical trouble appears early, that pressure can follow them through the rest of the schedule. Fans remain divided on cup-level drivers entering truck competition. Some believe it elevates the level of competition. Others argue it limits opportunities for full-time Truck Series drivers trying to establish themselves. And if Shane van Gisbergen wins in his first Truck Series road course start, that debate will only intensify, because then the question becomes unavoidable. Are these crossover drivers simply elite talents adapting quickly, or are truck regulars being pushed harder than ever before? Best case scenario for Trackhouse Racing. One of its drivers wins, the organization controls the weekend narrative, and the garage begins viewing them as NASCAR's new road course powerhouse. Worst case scenario, mistakes, contact, or reliability problems turn a highly anticipated weekend into an early setback. And historically, Watkins Glen has never been forgiving. So now the focus shifts to one final question. Who handles the pressure best when the race becomes chaotic late? Will Shane van Gisbergen prove he can win immediately in trucks? Will Connor Zilisch deliver a breakout moment? Or will Ross Chastain show that veteran experience still carries the biggest advantage? We'll find out Friday night at Watkins Glen.